Welcome back to the show. Got a great guest for you guys today. It's John Humphrey, who is from the YouTube channel The Real Rejects. Actually had the other guy from the channel, Greg Alba, back on in June. So yeah, finally having him on. And we had a great conversation. And just for some context, we actually tried doing an episode last week, but the audio got all messed up, so this is kind of just a redo in a way, but a lot of the topics that we talk about were pretty different from what we were talking about before, but we still get into some of the subjects that I had written down for the episode prior. But yeah, I just wanted to make some different questions and stuff like that and different topics, so it felt a little bit different to us at least. But yeah, he was a great guest. Hope you guys enjoy him. You guys can go check out The Real Rejects on YouTube. They do reaction videos to YouTube videos, TV, occasionally movies. I know they do stuff like that mostly on their Patreon. And they also do reviews of movies, TV, games, and they do live streams pretty much every week. So yeah, this is the episode with John Humphrey from The Real Rejects.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
President.
Yeah. I feel like this podcast, I guess, will have sort of a weirder, larger context because it's around.
Pretty much.
It's take two.
Yeah. So yeah, how you been doing this week? Anything super exciting happen, or just kind of a laid back week for you?
It's been a pretty normal week. I mean, before the election, we've been kind of in a cycle of getting ahead of our schedule so that, come the holidays, it's a little easier to take a little breather time and
Right.
Yeah, so we kind of effectively ate up the headway we initially had during election week, just because that was such a weird week that it just turned out to be lucky that we were ahead, because then we just weren't behind. So yeah, we've just been catching up on a lot this week, so a lot of it's been pretty normal. A little bit of Friday the 13th-y, klutzy, bad luckish bullshit here and there, but nothing major.
Are you gonna go check out that Freaky movie?
Yeah, at some point. I mean, I don't know if I keep musing about going to a drive-in or something like that, but nice. Is it streaming?
I don't know if it is or not. I'm going to the theater next week, just because the ones around me are currently open.
Where you live again?
I'm in Michigan.
Michigan, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So what's the theater experience like there right now?
Honestly, it's really not busy a whole lot whenever I go there, because I've been there. I went to go see the first Scream movie with my friend just for fun. That was actually pretty fun to see that on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's a great movie. I love that series. But I also went and saw Tenet, which I still don't know how I feel about that movie, to be honest. But
I mean, I've heard, yeah, it's every time Christopher Nolan drops a movie, even if I haven't seen it, the spectrum of conversation usually seems so wide, and so yeah, I can imagine it's sort of not. It seems like a movie you'd have to see a couple times to really kind of know.
Oh yeah, definitely. I kind of don't know how I feel about Christopher Nolan, to be honest. I like the Dark Knight trilogy.
Okay.
But Interstellar, I liked it the first time I watched it, but then I watched it again and I was just like, this kind of falls apart for me now.
Yeah, Interstellar, like that's a fascinating one in his filmography to me, just because like I totally like I feel you totally, and I remember seeing it in the theater, thinking to myself like this really sort of does to me separate the two hemispheres of like Christopher Nolan's
Right.
brain or voice or however you want to put it, because it is a movie that has like this breathtaking assembly, and especially like those locked off shots in space where it's all like miniatures and stuff. Like it's really something to behold, but then it is also kind of gushy and romantic in a lot of ways.
A little bit, yeah.
And
I also, one of the things I don't like about his directing style is that he hardly seems to ever want to explain anything.
Yeah, well, yeah. That or it'll be just there'll be like a paragraph's worth of it. Here's like a Cliff's Notes to catch you up for what I'm about to blow your mind
Right.
with or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, like I do think he makes great movies. Just a little overly complicated sometimes. It doesn't always, I don't know, it doesn't always make full sense to me.
I feel you.
But
there's a lot.
For the most part, I still enjoy.
I know. In fact, and I guess it's kind of blasphemy even to bring a gripe like this up against a movie such as The Dark Knight, but I feel like there is an element, while Christopher Nolan is like very, very like he's clearly knows filmmaking. He's clearly a master of that, but there is a certain level of chaos or a certain level of like I really like Dunkirk, but I understand.
I actually haven't seen that.
Oh, it's definitely worth a watch, and I feel like it kind of depends on how you feel. Did you see 1917?
I did. That was a great movie.
I mean, if you like 1917, I feel like, and this might be a niche opinion, but I feel like you would enjoy or get something out of Dunkirk because, I mean, like 1917 might be a bit more personal because you're like with one or two guys the whole time, and you do follow a few specific people through Dunkirk, but they both have this quality of like part of. Some people complained, I think, about both of those movies that like the character stuff isn't really as engaging as the craft of whatever the quote gimmick is, and for me, I connected really heavily to both of those movies. But Dunkirk has a similar quality, I think, to 1917, where it's like you're in a couple of very specific time scenarios that are really heavily bound to time. And you're watching kind of the combined effort of so many different people, rather than a lot of war movies that zero in on like this specific couple of people, in a different way. But yeah,
doesn't that movie have Harry Styles in it?
It does, yeah.
How is he with acting? Because I guess I've never seen him in anything.
He's, I mean, in that movie, he's totally natural. And I mean, and I remember Christopher Nolan kind of talking about his reasoning for doing the casting. And I mean, I think he said he was initially averse to it. And then he saw him on tape or whatever. And he does, I think he said, have this sort of classic, like dashing young, British quality to him that like you would see even guys like that in a war like this, all thrown together. So yeah, it was weird. Like he shows up, but because of the way the movie handles its characters in a way, I wasn't distracted by it. Like he's not a huge character, but he's prominent. Like he's one of the ensemble for sure.
Okay.
I was like pleasantly surprised. I was with it.
So have you watched the newest Mandalorian episode?
Yeah, every Mando we pretty much shoot Friday morning or Friday afternoon, depending. So
yeah, I watched it earlier this morning when I woke up, and I was just like, "Oh, that episode was pretty great." I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean this was the here's all the serial stuff you've been waiting for.
Yeah, kind of. It's more of just like, and spoiler alert to anybody listening, but it is just kind of like setting up a lot of stuff, I feel like.
Yeah.
With like Ahsoka Tano and all that. I was so excited when I heard that name, just because I've been so excited to see her pop up. I really do love that character.
Man, that I feel like I need like Cliff's Notes guide of like specific Clone Wars episodes to like really get in, because like I've come to understand what this character means to so many people, and like I've seen clips. I'm excited, but at the same time, especially knowing that next week is the thing, I feel like this week I need to do some kind of deep dive and really sort of, I mean, you know, Greg has just finished the entire series, and you know, now I'm like, damn, I guess I should probably watch it, because like I don't know, I'm invested enough in the Mandalorian, and now I'm, you know, if there's a wealth of stuff about this new character for me to go back and now, you know, open myself up to, that's exciting.
There's a lot of Clone Wars stuff just in that last episode. I feel like, and I haven't even really watched a whole lot of Clone Wars. I just know quite a bit about it from like hearing about it over the years, and I watched like a decent majority of the first season, but other than that, like everything I know about Star Wars is just like, I guess I kind of just like know it from the internet in a way.
Yeah, I feel you.
Anything like deep like that.
Because that's
But I love all the like mythology with the Kyber crystals and stuff. That's the thing that I find like coolest for some reason.
Hey man, I mean that's the thing about Star Wars, I think, that is so appealing, is it is a very well realized universe, and so yeah, it's like totally different things can pull you in, and stuff like that, like the weird metaphysical geology of the Star Wars universe, you know.
I actually had a couple questions here. Only one of these questions was from the last time, but what are some of your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to making content for the channel or the Patreon or just your social media?
Oh man, social media is actually, it's ironically for me, is sort of more of the challenge. I feel like lately when it comes to content, I mean, I've definitely had a lot to kind of adjust to and learn over time in terms of the assembly and just the sort of how much you put into, like what level you put into a video, and how that kind of relates to, you know, its place among everything, being that not we crank out stuff every day, so you know you can't spend forever you know tweaking stuff. So you know I feel like weaknesses, like, you know, I definitely have a tendency to want to like comb every video and like polish it up and stuff like that, and that can be just counter it just it eats up time in a way, so I've had to
counterproductive, a little bit tedious.
And what you come to find, because it's partly too, it's like you want to add your fun stuff to the video and you know make it more visually appealing or whatever, but you know you start to realize that also, you know, especially with the kind of content that we make, you know, not everyone's always watching A, to that point in the video at all, or B, just literally watching. Sometimes they're just listening. So I've definitely had ways I've needed to like really kind of grow my mental dashboard in terms of like that type of efficiency and assembly, and also just it's so much more than you would ever think from the outside to run a channel like this. You know, it's like it is a business, and that's something that I've learned tons and tons and tons about from Greg, really, because you know before we were doing this 100% together, like he built, I mean, he was doing it every day at first on top of his job, and then once he was able to hop out of that, you know, full time. And so, you know, it's for me, I've always seen aspects of that, and I've been involved and had access to a lot of it, but especially when we went full on, you know, partnership, you know, that was definitely a side that I've had to really kind of rise to, I suppose. But when it comes to strengths, like I feel like when we're on camera together and we got like something good to talk about, you know, like something we're enthused to talk about, I feel like I'm pretty solid at getting into the vibe of the video and being able to zero in on, like, there's a lot of pressure on the internet to appear as though, or to just to have all the knowledge. There's like a certain level of respect in knowledge that seems to exist, or at least like knowledge of lexicons of things. And so it's a fine line, and you know, I'm a little bit better at sort of like on the fly prepping myself a little bit and then kind of engaging, letting go of all that when we watch reaction and stuff, engaging with it, and then just kind of figuring out, okay, what can I say about this that might be, you know, unique or interesting. I don't know. This is all kind of vague. I guess one of my strengths would be just that level of comfort I've been able to develop, and partly again is credit to, you know, having Greg to bounce off of. But especially like on the Patreon side, like when we do like TV watch-alongs and stuff, and it's just a small thing, but I think we both take a certain amount of pride, and there's an element of like that time thing from earlier in the sense that you don't want to talk forever about a video, but at the same time, like breaking down episodes of these shows every week that we cover, I feel like I can pretty well now lock into the zone and really deliver like a succinct and thoughtful breakdown, but also, you know, make it fun. And so like those, in terms of like shooting and assembling those, are usually really fun because yeah, you just really kind of get to open up and, you know, express your real feelings, and then people share back with you stuff, and you don't always agree, and that's kind of the best of the engagement, sort of, is when you can knock it back and forth and indulge in sort of the peripheral enjoyment of things along with just like the content. So yeah, social media, I mean, is definitely something that I would like to get a lot better at, which is, I used to do that. I used to actually be a social media manager for a certain amount of time for a different company. But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. That just being able to bring that energy.
One of my weaknesses right now, I feel like, is just like kind of generalizing stuff. When I talk about like certain movies and TV shows that I'm like really passionate about, I can talk about them for hours. But if I'm just like kind of talking about something I watched like randomly, I kind of generalize it and don't really like get into depth too much. But at the same time, I feel like I have so many things that to talk about in one episode. Like my next episode, like with just me, probably have like over 10 movies to watch now. I've been watching a bunch of like the classic Disney movies. Nice. I'm gonna watch all the classics, and then I'm gonna watch the remakes, the live action remakes, and try to compare those. And I've also been watching a lot of the Pixar movies. And then also going back and just watching like non-Disney animation, like The Iron Giant. I went and watched for the first time.
That is one of my favorite movies.
It's a great one. I also watched the first How to Train Your Dragon. I'm gonna watch the other two as well, but I think that was the only one I saw out of the three.
It's a good,
because it kind of came out in a time where I was like, the first one came out in like 2010 or something like that, so I was 10 years old, and that was probably the perfect age for it. But like as they went on, it's just like I kind of lost interest.
It's weird, that series. Yeah, like the first one I remember being pretty jazzed about, and then the second and third. Like I didn't see the third one for a long time. I saw the second one in the theaters, and it's weird. Like, yeah, I thought each one was really good, but after the first one, I kind of fell off, and then I came to realize once I saw all three that like I don't necessarily like love any one movie, but I have like mad respect for that as a franchise, because I think it over three movies does a really nice job of just being a trilogy, you know.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about it, so I'm excited to go and watch the other two. But the first one's great from, you know, me watching that one a couple times. But
hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, what else do I have?
Sorry,
what were you going to say?
I'm talking to you from across the street from a big mural that wasn't here before, and it's actually of the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda.
That is badass.
And I believe it's kind of dark. There's a tree obscuring, but I think there is an Ahsoka Tano and a Bo-Katan on there as well. So yeah, there's like awesome. A fortuitously placed Star Wars mural now across the street.
Is it like officially licensed, or is it like somebody just kind of did.
I mean,
art.
it's beautiful looking. Like, I guess
Mm-hmm.
it mustn't be a problem. And actually, I mean, there are Disney buildings not far from here. I'm in beautiful downtown Burbank right now, and but yeah, it's on a comic book store that has a mural on the other side of the corner that I'm around that has like just kind of a medley of pop culture characters. But
this is really random, but I remember when they were filming Batman v Superman. Greatest movie ever made. Right across from the comic book store, like in one of the bigger cities where I go to sometimes, they have this like art museum, and they actually filmed like the scene with Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent there. I don't know why I just randomly thought about that. Probably because of the comic book shop.
Not
but
bad.
Yeah, that was really random. I just thought about that.
It's like it's relevant trivia. It's within the realm, so I feel like it's relevant.
Mm-hmm. And the small town I actually live in, they just filmed that. You heard of Detroit, right? That movie that came out like 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, they filmed a small scene there. I actually got to go on the. Yeah. I actually got to go on the bus that they filmed on, which was really cool. But yeah, it was pretty sick. My friend got a ride home in it, but my mom was like, "You don't know that person. Don't ride home with them."
You could have missed out on a crazy.
I was pretty disappointed. Yeah. Magic school bus.
Magic Detroit school bus.
Oh God. Putting the word Detroit in it just makes it like sound terrifying.
Detroit, yeah. I mean, did they film Don't Breathe in Detroit?
I think they did actually. Yeah,
I feel like that was one of those movies where, and they may have been exaggerating, but you see the neighborhood and you're like, oh damn, and they're like, yeah, we just shot in a regular neighborhood or like a real place, and we were like, oh damn, like
yeah, that definitely looks like a kind of Detroit kind of place, so I wouldn't be surprised. I've been around that area, and yeah, it definitely looks like it could be. But I didn't care for that movie too much the first time I watched it. Yeah, I wonder if I was just like not in the mood for that kind of movie, or
twisted.
I don't know.
I mean, like it's a twisted movie, and it is like.
I heard they're working on a sequel.
I think Greg told me they have already finished it, or something. I don't know.
Oh wow!
I heard about it just recently though, which.
Yeah, out of all the things to get a sequel, I was just kind of like, really?
Yeah, it's that I like Fede Alvarez a lot. I like that director a lot, and I was really psyched when that movie did well, and I like that movie a good amount. As kind of I need to take a shower afterwards as it is, but
oh yeah, it was real gross.
It's one of those movies where like I'm sure there's a way. Like have you ever seen The Collector? It's a movie.
I don't think I have. When you say Collector, I just think of the Guardians of the Galaxy character,
Guillermo del Toro. I mean, Benicio del Toro. Damn it. Oh, that was. I've just failed. I just like
that was.
It's
Friday pretty
night
similar,
and it's been a long day out of a long week. So I plead. It was still a film reference, so there you go. Yeah, Benicio.
Right.
But the Collector is a movie by the dudes who took over Saw after Lee Whannell stopped writing the movies. Okay. And it's cool. It's sort of got a Saw-esque quality to it in the sense that there is sort of like a torture trap game, but it's more of like a home invasion story turned on its head.
Grown up Kevin McAllister. I literally just watched Home Alone too.
God. I have so many feelings about Home Alone over the years. That
Me
movie
too.
is really, and I think it's because I didn't grow up on it in this. Like I saw it. I can't remember at what point in life, but it was a good amount of time ago. But it wasn't before I was 15, probably. So I feel like, yeah, I probably missed the key time of just loving Home Alone. Because
possible.
I just have every time I interact with it, I have a different set of feelings. But it's very much a horror movie. In fact,
Yeah,
that was
definitely.
I took a class in school all about film and music and film, basically. And I think
Nice.
for one project, somebody I think just took the music out of Home Alone. I don't think they even rescored it with anything, and it became a very different experience. So yeah, I have a fascination.
Were you just talking about that on the channel?
Perhaps it comes up. I don't recall talking about it like super recently, like in the past week or two, but
because I feel like I just heard somebody saying that.
maybe it was on a live stream.
Somebody in the class did that.
We've had,
but,
especially during Halloween time, I think there was definitely a live stream where we talked about Kevin McAllister. We referenced that sketch. Have you seen that sketch where he's like grown up and he's like a rideshare driver?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
But the collector,
don't they have Macaulay Culkin play him too?
He's game for that stuff.
The older version, that was great.
He pops up on Red Letter Media,
yeah,
which always tickles me.
I love his brother too, Kieran
Culkin.
Kieran's hilarious. I loved him in Scott Pilgrim. That's a great movie.
Scott Pilgrim, hell yeah, and I also just started watching Succession, which he's in, which he's a slime, but he's like super fun to watch in that show.
He's definitely a good actor. I've liked him in the things I've seen him in.
He's in that rare category of he's in that special bracket of actors, siblings or relations who like pop off later on after they're super famous, brother, sister, what have you.
And then there's like another brother, but I don't remember.
Yeah, there's like a cluster of Culkins out there.
Yeah. That sounds like a Christmas
cluster
family
of
movie.
Culkins.
Cluster of Culkins.
Yeah, there's a harem of Hemsworths. There's a cluster of Culkins.
This is literally a Dr. Seuss book now.
It's one of those like how to teach you the ABCs, but through whimsical alliterations. It'll be like the celebrity siblings version of that Edward Gorey book. What is that? The Ghastly Crumb Tinies or whatever.
So I recently watched a movie called The Opening Act. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
You might jog my memory in describing it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find my notes for it. I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. But he was on I don't know if you watched Space Force or not. I didn't really care for it too much. But
everyone saying that, and there being a lot of stuff to watch, and like I try to watch some stuff for myself, but also I try to watch certain things that'll behoove my general channel knowledge. So yeah, that was one where I was like, I might check something else out.
Yeah. The opening act actually has a cameo from somebody you guys have had on your channel. I don't know if you knew this or not. I forget her name. Sally
LaMonaco?
Yes, she had a cameo in the opening act.
I'm gonna have to when we hop off here.
There's a lot of like great comedians in it too.
Good for Sally. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't think she had any lines in it or anything, but still, I like recognized her. And I was like, hey,
it's all right. It's one step further to her playing Mary Jane in the ever expanding Spider-Verse, which now, I mean, everyone's in the Spider-Verse. So now's the time.
Pretty much. Did you hear that Chris Pine's joining the new Thor movie? Or not Chris Pine.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. I always get him mixed up. He's going to be playing Star-Lord in the next Thor movie, apparently, which I'm happy about.
Clash of the remaining. They're combining their Chris power. They gotta protect their reserve of Chris's. I heard that this afternoon. I'm
I'm excited about that.
Like it'll be fun. That's right. Oh, duh, because of Asgardians of the Galaxy. Oh, duh, yeah.
Oh,
it's funny. It took me all day. I heard it this afternoon. And I was like, oh yeah, that seems like something they would do. Like sure, why not? Especially while James Gunn's away. and Guardians isn't shooting yet or anything, like, yeah, go for it.
Is he not going to do the third Guardians?
No, he is.
Or is he?
No, he's
is
still
he going to
doing
do
it.
that?
It's just, you know,
okay, good.
It's
I was
I
about
think
to say
he's still.
he better.
I don't know exactly what the timelines are, but you know, they're probably just getting started on that if they're not, you know, still working on finishing Suicide Squad or Peacemaker or something.
I'm so excited for that movie.
Man. I mean, I like DC's dice rolls, man. and not that it's that. I mean, James Gunn right now is pretty tried and true in the pop culture sphere, but you know, even still, it's given me that feeling of like, damn, I don't know exactly what this is going to be, and it's going to be rated R, so it'll definitely not be a Marvel.
So excited.
You know?
There's a lot of good DC stuff coming, although it does just make me think like, are they going to fire Amber Heard or not?
I don't. Oh goodness golly, I have no idea. It's a weird time to be an actor.
I don't know.
Yeah. I have no idea, and I don't know what to make.
I mean, I would hope she does get fired from it. I'm not saying that because like I'm a misogynist or anything. I'm just based on what I've heard. I think it's fair that they both lose their roles.
Ultimately, based on and you know, Greg has delved through a lot more of the, you know, recordings and hard evidence than I have, certainly. But yeah, from everything I can gather and what I am learning actually from the process of engaging in the slight ways that we do with it, because, you know, we breach into, you know, socially relevant stuff every now and again, and typically when it is motivated by what our expertise is, so there's not sort of like a why are you talking about this kind of thing.
Talking huge politics and stuff like that.
And occasionally, you know, like during election week, like occasionally it happens, but yeah, it does to me seem like a great illustration of just how difficult and gray, especially from the outside in the public court of public opinion, like how difficult those situations can be. And yeah, it seems like a very toxic situation, heavily back and forth between two people. And so yeah, to me it sort of seems like I feel like they should probably both they should both kind of get this situation figured out. Because also, and I mean, not to say that it's weird. There's so many ways to approach a topic like that. And yeah, it does become also then this weird thing of like, well, if you're keeping this person, you're not keeping that person. And then we're not going to talk about this guy. And then we're going to talk really loudly about this guy. They're all in this one movie and half of them are in another. You know, like, it's like I am so glad I am not in charge of these decisions.
That's definitely me in that situation. I'm like, I'm just glad I don't have to make this decision.
Because like at the end of the day, like I don't know Amber Heard, and nothing justifies, like, it seems like, you know, Johnny Depp certainly has his fair share of things in that relationship he shouldn't have done that were abusive, but it sounds like also so did she. And so yeah, man, this whole situation's weird, and it's weird that it's so heavily entrenched now too in just like geek culture, because it is just like I don't know, it's a very fragile thing, but then it's also like I don't know, I feel like there's more than just that to how people see these, you know, characters, because you form bonds with people based on movies and emotional experiences, and it's a headache. The whole
I don't have
is a headache.
Deep connection with either of them. Right. I don't have a deep connection with either of them. Definitely Johnny Depp more than Amber Heard, just because I've seen more of his movies.
There are a lot of I've seen a handful of her roles that I've, you know, rather enjoyed. But yeah, I mean, Johnny Depp, it's been weird, you know, because, you know, I mean, everyone's a person, and I think now is a great time in our as difficult to engage with as it can be in certain circles or for certain people. I think now is a good time to sort of remember, like, oh yeah, as much distance as there is between us and celebrities, and how much, you know, like, we can sculpt the image we put out there. Life is a mess, and everybody is just a person trying to do their best with it. And, you know, So, you know, it kind of helps you maybe not to hold people up so high, and then also maybe helps it be less shocking when these things start to happen, because you know,
Right.
it's also too, like, it's interesting to look at comments based on these things, because you know, you see an array of opinions.
Because these things happen all the time. The only difference with this is that it's like highly publicized and it's two very famous people. Like, other than that,
and it's
like,
such a weird,
aside from them being famous, like, nobody would blink an eye, I feel like.
And I've heard, I mean, somebody in our comment thread actually, you know, and I haven't really fact checked this to know for certain, but they sort of said, like, yeah, these kinds of cases are really hard to win in the UK, and, you know, sort of the parameters, the legislation is different than it is, say, in America or whatever.
I would imagine.
And he cited,
it's different.
And they cited a few other, you know, high profile cases. I think one even involved the prince, you know, of a similar variety. So it's weird. Yeah, it's a weird situation, and, you know, it's, even if you look at this specific case that we're talking about, it's not even the case between them, sort of. It's sort of a case about a label, you know. It's a case about a semantic thing, which you know, is relevant and damaging, but I don't know.
Yeah.
God, it's a mess. It's a mess. And yeah, like, it's
Definitely.
I don't know what you do in that situation, and I guess it's a thankless job to be WB right now, because I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. And I feel like it's very...
I feel like it's a thankless job to be doing any movies these days, based on anything. People's expectations are so high, and it's like, if you get it wrong, we're gonna sign a petition to make it so, like, you know, this movie isn't canon.
I don't know. I mean, if they keep her, they keep her. It was one of those things too, where, you know, Aju's good in the role, but I also, it's not, I wouldn't be devastated, or I wouldn't be able to, like, not see past them recasting. Right. But at the same time, I can understand.
I could, yeah.
So that's a non-answer for you.
I can, I think she's kind of replaceable, I feel like, in Aquaman, her character, at least. I mean, I thought she had some fun scenes, like when she was, you know, in that market or whatever with Aquaman, and she was, like, eating those flowers. That was funny. Kind of just like the disconnect, but other than that, like, I don't know, she didn't have a whole lot of character, I feel like.
Good as the rest of the movie to me, in the sense that, like, I think
I liked that movie.
I liked Aquaman. I thought it was pretty good. You know, it's like, it was gorgeous. It looked amazing. It was really punchy and fun. And, you know, Jason Momoa is Jason Momoa, so that's fun. And, you know, I like Patrick Wilson and Willem Dafoe and those guys. It's fun to see Lee Whannell pop up.
By the way, Patrick Wilson would have been a great Reverse Flash.
Patrick Wilson, like,
I think that was definitely my pick.
At some point, I'm trying to think, what has he been? Am I missing? Has he been in the Super thing yet?
Well, he was in,
but not
Aquaman,
as like a. I feel like that's the kind of thing where he could be a Marvel. He could come, like, if they didn't cast John Krasinski, he could be a Mr. Fantastic, like, for some kind of curveball thing. I
could see that.
Or I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I mean, I don't know. He just doesn't seem nerdy enough.
I can see that. He has.
I feel like that character's supposed to be really nerdy.
And he has a certain boyishness, too, that I don't as much associate with Mr. Fantastic, with Reed Richards.
Right.
It's Reed Richards, right?
But, I mean, if they're going to cast Emily Blunt, then might as well go with John Krasinski as well. I'll be happy with that.
It's weird.
It's not like I'm not going to see it.
I almost would feel less jazzed about just having one of them. I would be very jazzed in a way, just for how it's one of those things where, like, if they can really nail the movie, that'll be really fun to see them play the characters, because they'll obviously be able to build upon their natural bond, and that'll be fun. So it's like, yeah, I would want to see them both do it, because also too, I think if it was only Emily Blunt, then I would be maybe even a little distracted, just because of how
I think
prevalent the conversation's been.
Invisible Woman, though, she'd be great as Sue Storm. Yeah. I think she would nail that.
Yeah, totally.
Honestly, she can really do anything she sets her mind to.
Yeah, no, she's got chops for days. She's got a wide range of ability. And that was the thing. Like, that was why I wanted to love that Mary Poppins movie, because she was terrific. Like, she ran that show.
I liked it for the most part.
Yeah, I did too. I liked what it was and what it was doing. It just, it just...
Did you watch that Christopher Robin movie?
Yeah, Mark Forster's gloomy.
I still haven't seen that.
His melancholy.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about going into it. Like, it kind of just looks depressing.
It is. Not gonna lie. It is in a way, but it comes with the enthusiastic Real Reject stamp of approval for sure. Actually, I think that was one, and I feel like that is another sort of tier or class or grade or whatever you want to call it of this wave of remakes. Is the sort of it's not the big musical, but Mary Poppins Returns had elements of that, where it's like, it's the dad who's like working way too hard to bond with his family and realize what's important in life, and then the kids are just kind of growing up a little fast and on the road. But I actually
I like the actors in
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda is obviously great.
With that accent,
yeah.
I have,
you saw
just
Hamilton,
the once,
right?
Just the once on Disney Plus, the way it's meant to be.
That's a good movie.
Actually, that was what was supposed to come to the Pantages before
I've
we
been
shut
to
down.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've been to a few plays in my life, and I've actually been in a few, but just the way they did that on Disney Plus with the camera work and all that, just like made it that much more engaging. And I'm sure like certain kind of like mannerisms and stuff like that people have on stage it's kind of harder to see from further back. So I definitely enjoyed that movie a lot. I've watched it a couple times, but the soundtrack is awesome too. Just love it all. But man, who was the other guy who like played the dad in Mary Poppins Returns? I can't remember his name, but yes, I like him from what I've seen him in. Wasn't he in oh no, that wasn't him in Pirates in the Caribbean.
Was he in one of those?
What else has he been in?
He's not like a lead in one of the original three or whatever, but he's
right. It would be like the fourth one.
I want to say he like popped up in a part somewhere, but he's in the James Bond. He's in the Daniel Craig era James Bond movies, right?
Okay.
Q?
I've only seen Skyfall.
I mean, hey, that's a good one to have seen. Skyfall, I think, is one of the better regarded. It's weird, man. Like James Bond movies, it seems like if you get to do a handful, if you're, if you get to join that club, it's almost like destiny that there will be a couple really good ones, and maybe one that's like really not good, and then a couple that are sort of okay. Like, it seems like it's hard to get a streak of just like, damn, that was 5 great Bonds,
Right. I don't know. I thought there were a lot more than there actually are. Like, I thought there were like 100 or something like that, but like that was me as a kid, just like thinking like there's been so many different ones
at the video store that you're like, oh yeah, there's there must be exponential amounts of James Bond adventures. Yeah, exactly.
It's like Doctor Who almost. Just like so many different incarnations.
The further we get into that show, that's one of the things we watch on Patreon. We actually just did Blink, an episode called Blink Today, and
okay. Oh, was
yeah,
that the one with the Weeping Angels?
That is a
That's a great episode. David Tennant, right?
Fantastic, and Carey Mulligan, like young Carey Mulligan. We spent part of that episode sitting there going, she looks like, who does she look like? She looks like this person. Oh, she kind of looks like Carey Mulligan. Man, she's really good. Is that Carey Mulligan? A few minutes go by. That's got to be Carey Mulligan. Otherwise, like, where is this woman been? Like, yeah, yeah. But the further we get into Doctor Who, the more the theory of like James Bond is a Time Lord. Like, it just makes all the more sense. I'm just. Yeah,
it just fucking makes awesome.
This is a Time Lord with a totally different style and a way different sense of morality.
and a just like completely different,
exactly.
Motives and everything, just like completely
and with
different.
Little flair for extraterrestrial science fiction.
Right. I liked Doctor Who for a long time. I kind of stopped around Peter Capaldi.
I get the feeling that's the.
I obviously haven't watched like a lot of the older ones or anything like that, but I was obsessed with Doctor Who for a while. I had like a huge cardboard cutout of the TARDIS and everything. It was
I'm just
my life.
Just up the,
but
just like up the road from where I am right now, there is a somewhat life-size TARDIS attached to like a geek. It's like a geek tea and game store or something like that. And
it sounds like I need to, hang out around where you live, because there's like a lot of really cool stores.
There are some pretty cool niche kind of stores around here, and also places that will do like back in the before times. I think that place in particular would have a lot of tabletop game nights and different things.
Okay. I haven't really gotten into those or anything like that, and I don't know if I ever will.
There are
it's not really
myriad
my thing.
Things under the sun to engage with on a pastime or a hobby level, and yeah, if you never get into tabletop gaming, I think you'll be okay.
I kind of did like the Pokemon thing when I was younger, but like I didn't even really play it right. Thing. I don't think
we kind of just made up something based on the numbers and
made up your own rules. yeah. I had fun with Pokemon and stuff like that when I was a kid, though. I still kind of like it, but like obviously not as much, just because I'm grown up and there's obviously not a lot of Pokemon stuff around anymore, other than like Detective Pikachu, which I actually really liked, even though it was pretty much just Deadpool as Pikachu.
And I mean, to be fair, he's not Deadpool, but Detective Pikachu is also a very distinct personality in the game that it's based on.
Yeah, I haven't played the Detective Pikachu game, but I have played a few of the Pokemon games on like DS and all that, so I'm a little bit familiar with it at least.
We all had Pokemon Blue and Red
liked
back
it.
in the day.
Let me see. So Spider-Man Miles Morales just came out
this afternoon. Yeah.
Hell yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna be getting mine next week, I think. Have you played the Spider-Man PS4 game yet?
I have not.
That for a while.
I've witnessed it many a time in stretches, but actually, it's really kind of creeping in that sort of like, damn, I haven't had a new console in a long time, and we've been watching like hella Mortal Kombat and Spider-Man videos lately, and especially like, I mean, the Spider-Man, like Marvel's Spider-Man stuff looked really, really cool, and it made me want to jump in. But like the Miles Morales game does that even more with the footage that I've seen. Like, just
I've been very limited on what I've seen, just because I really want to like just kind of experience it for the first time. But Spider-Man PS4, one of my favorite games of all time. I've probably played it like
Spider-Man, like in the video game world, I think Spider-Man has a special thing because not every Spider-Man game is great, but I can remember various times in my life in which there was a pretty good Spider-Man game out. And I can't say that, maybe Batman, but I can't say that about a whole lot of other superheroes. Yeah.
You mean the Arkham games? Yeah, I've played a few of those. I haven't beat them all, just because like Arkham Knight is so difficult. Like a lot of those are really difficult for me, but
it's possible.
I enjoyed them still.
Think, in my own experiences with it, and in several experiences I've witnessed with other people, it's possible to get stuck and frustrated. I feel like in a game like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got stuck on the Riddler trophies.
Oh.
Arkham Knight was probably the hardest one out of all of them that I played, but I still enjoyed, like, Arkham Asylum was a great game. I went back and played it, though, like, not too long ago, and I was just like, it's not as cool as I remember it being. Just, like, with the graphics and stuff, I think I'm just overly spoiled now with, like, the new games and stuff. It's just not.
I feel like there will become this weird middle ground where, you know, if I want to play an older game, I'll play something from like the 90s, 2000s, or 80s. And then like there'll be this kind of chasm in between where it's like, this doesn't hold up as great, and the new stuff is amazing. So like I'll just go play Ghost of Tsushima or something. You know.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that game. So what consoles do you have?
I'm still back on Wii and Xbox 360 and PS3. I had that whole run through various means. I mean, I was gifted the Wii. I saved up, and for a moment I was, you know, a founder of some sort of feast in my house because I saved up for that PS3 like when they were new, and I like because of my gaming habit, you know, we got a Blu-ray player. So hell yeah.
Nice. It's literally just PS4.
I mean, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot except for backwards compatibility.
Pretty much.
You know, which you know, it's old enough to still do that, but yeah, and then the 360 was also like a gift that was re-gifted to me. It was like, hey, I got this for free. You want it?
I'm currently on PS4. I've been a PS4 guy for a little while now. I started off with when I was a real little kid. Yeah, when I was a real little kid, I actually started off playing the original PlayStation with like Tetris, Road Rash, Frogger, Need for Speed, lots of really great games.
Best video game.
Crash Bandicoot, love Crash.
Oh, Crash, Spyro.
Hell yeah! Oh yeah, definitely. The one with Aaron Paul,
Kid Cudi, Rami Malek, Imogene Poots. Kid Cudi flies
in that
helicopter in that movie, and Rami Malek gets naked in public.
That's hilarious.
That movie is awesome.
Why? I need to watch it now just for the laughs. It's hilarious.
One of those weird movies where I'm like, this fell out of an alternate dimension, sort of, but.
And that really wasn't that long
it was
ago
like
either.
The mid-teens, right? Somewhere in.
Yeah,
like that. 16
it's like 2015 or 16 or something like that.
Yeah, that movie is inexplicable, but I remember having a good time.
I like stupid movies like that sometimes, but sometimes it's just like this.
You know what I like to think of Need for Speed?
The
way I justify it to myself is this is so silly that it's literally what I think. I imagine it as just a Jesse Pinkman dream. This is the kind of like cool crime lifestyle I think that guy would actually want to live like in a fantasy, you know. But then wake up and realize that, you know, he's in New Mexico and he's got to cook meth.
All right, let me give you one of these questions I actually gave you to the last episode, but I actually have some more answers this time. What are some movies and TV shows that are highly regarded that you've never seen? And for me, I got Game of Thrones, Reservoir Dogs, Braveheart, the original Alien, the original
Wow.
Godfather, and Airplane.
You came prepared with some heavy ones. Damn. All right.
Yeah, there's some really good movies I have never
seen The
seen.
Shawshank Redemption.
Mhm.
I've never seen. Oh, damn! A new one
Classic.
just came to my mind. It's a classic. I'm trying to think. It took me a long time. There are lots of things that I've been catching up on lately. Now that there's no more world,
Mhm.
I always fantasize
Same.
about like going through directors'
Mhm.
filmographies or things like that. But
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. I've never seen The Sopranos. I've never seen The Wire. I've never seen 6 Feet Under. I've never seen Dexter.
Same.
Which are all shows that at some point I feel like I oughta. And it's funny because like those are shows. I feel like I don't have as many examples of things that I need to have seen that I've missed that are very recent. Whereas like there are certain things that have held on from right before everyone was making TV content where like I'm still like, damn, I should go back and you know, pick that back up or whatever. Nor have I.
Yeah, still haven't watched The
I've heard I would
Witcher
like
yet.
it.
I heard that's pretty good. I heard Jason Momoa is supposed to be coming in the second season.
Why
so
not?
I need to watch it then. I mean, Henry Cavill's a great actor, so I've heard only good things about that show.
I feel like I can anticipate maybe the second season bringing a little more hype on its tail, so I might catch up on it over the winter or something like that.
I'm actually gonna stop the recording here just because it ends at like an hour, and I'll just Let me see. Oh, here's a kind of hell yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen Children of Men. That's one that everyone's like, oh, dude, you gotta check that out.
Never heard of
that.
it.
Hey, it's I think it's
who directed that?
Oh damn! Was it Alfonso Cuarón or Alejandro Iñárritu? I'm not sure. It's got Clive Owen, and it's this futuristic sci-fi. It's a dystopian movie where I think it's like he's got to transport like the last pregnant woman on Earth or something like that.
Is it a older movie or is it new?
It was made within the last like 20 years.
Okay.
It's recent, but it's also been around enough to be kind of regarded as a modern sci-fi classic. I've never seen the Amityville Horror. I feel like that's one of those horror franchises. I've never seen any of the Final Destination movies.
I've actually seen a decent majority of them. I watched those when I was like really young with my mom for some reason. And she doesn't even like horror movies, so it's like I don't know how I got to... Yeah, those movies are great. I just love the crazy death scenarios and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I've seen like clip compilations here and there that make them look very, very fun. But yeah, man, there's so many. That's the thing is I feel like I've done a little bit better to catch up on certain things, but there are so many things I still have yet to see. And
it's kind of funny. I started this podcast in February, and before I started this, I thought I knew like a bunch about movies and stuff like that. There was so much I didn't know, and like I've learned so much just since February about like so many different things. So like my mind is just so expanded.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of crazy just that short amount of time to like watch a bunch of classics. Like I'm sure I watched Karate Kid when I was younger, like the original one, but that's definitely like one of my favorite movies now.
Oh yeah.
And then Cobra Kai is like seriously like one of my favorite shows. Such a great show. I am so excited for season 3.
Yes, coming to Netflix.
I was actually I was watching you know Chris, right?
Yeah.
From what's it called? Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I
was watching. He had an interview with the guy who plays. Yeah, he did an interview with Miguel from that show, and that kid's actually really smart.
Oh,
I call him a kid, even though like he's only a year younger than me. But
I feel like I remember around the time that happened, and then I got swept up in other things. But I would love to listen to that because I mean I really like him on the show, and I feel like Yeah, I can definitely see him being a sharp guy. And I love to. I feel like.
Yeah,
I
I'm
wonder if
obsessed with
maybe
that
too,
show.
like it seems like some of the younger set of actors and stuff like that are actually more apt to kind of shuffle in, like like Tony Revolori, like just shows up on or what used to be like Collider periodically.